Hello, welcome to my negotiated project presentation, where I will be showcasing my completed project and explaining the research and development for the project. The brief was a bakery called Just came to me asking for a fun and colourful rebrand. They have a local cafe in Hull, but also a small warehouse that sells sandwich bread to supermarkets. Their mission statement was that they make delicious, simply baked goods using minimal, high quality ingredients and want people to enjoy baked goods without feeling worried that they are harming their bodies or the environment. The rebrand included a request for sustainable packaging, shopfront signage, and marketing assets. To meet the brief for the sustainable packaging, I had the idea of having the bread wrapped in patterned paper that could be reused as wrapping paper and promoted circular use. I also had personal aims of improving my skills in creating print assets, improve my Adobe skills, particularly Photoshop and InDesign, learn photography skills, and create point of sale to help me with my employability. I will discuss throughout how this project helped me meet these aims. To manage the project, I created a Trello board that had tasks to complete on a weekly basis. This was useful in ensuring I managed my time and parts of the project weren't forgotten. I also wanted for the design process to be iterative, so ensured to allow time to receive feedback and make changes to be tested again. One thing I would change moving forward is pushing myself to make decisions faster. When going into the design industry, I understand I will have tight deadlines to meet and there won't be time for me to overthink ideas. To carry on with the ideation phase for this project, I carried out word associations, a breakdown of connected senses that a bakery could provoke, a product breakdown, initial thoughts on visuals such as colour, typography, and symbols, along with a list of elements I didn't see working. The same words kept cropping up: doughy, soft, fresh, friendly, simple, and honest. When considering Jennifer Raker's dimensions of brand personality, Just would sit mainly within the sincerity characteristics, with them being cheerful, honest, and genuine. This process confirmed the brand's personality and characteristics. I then wanted to understand how I could communicate this messaging to the audience whilst solving Just's problem of wanting sustainable packaging. In the book, Creating a Brand Identity, Balin states that in simple terms, the practice of branding is about creating differentiation and making one product seem different from the competitors. Due to the overuse of plastic within the bread industry, by meeting the main requirement of wanting sustainable packaging, Just would already be standing out from the competitors. I considered if sustainable packaging alone would affect the consumer's choice. In a study by Steenis et al., they conclude that sustainable packaging is most likely to be accepted when it enhances perception of product quality and taste. This study confirmed that the package design would need to have a slight premium feel to communicate the perception of quality. I created mood boards exploring colour, typography, and style that demonstrated the brand's personality, the requests from the brief, and the quality that the consumer would need to see to be swayed from the competitors. I also kept in mind the target audience for Just, which is all genders over the age of 25, and the key words to describe this audience are creatives, health conscious, caring, sustainable, and drawn to aesthetics. The colours explored are inspired by flour mills, wheat fields, rainy days, British nature, and French bakeries. The typography is round, squishy, bold, and communicates the brand personality while standing out from the competitors. The illustrative styles are simple and easy to understand, and the packaging is thoughtful and purposeful. When exploring typefaces, I was struggling to find the one that met what I had envisioned and that communicated that Just were a bread company. The typefaces available felt quite harsh or unwelcoming, so I used Procreate and a website called Calligrapher to create a font inspired by a font called Goops and downloaded it as a TTF file to my laptop. This was my trial attempt at creating my own font for Just. I continued exploring different typefaces and ways that the logo could communicate a bakery or a bread in a conceptual way. During this period of exploration, we had a lecture where we were shown a project brief where the designer gave two approaches to the client to choose. This motivated me to produce two concepts and move forward with the design I felt met the requirements of the audience, the brand personality, and the skill sets I needed to learn. For concept one, I gave myself the prompt to create a brand that showcases sincerity, a competent, authenticity, environmentally conscious, homely, cozy, natural, and warm. They promote community, breaking bread, sharing a moment, and highlight British grown produce. Think M&S to food hall, no greenwashing, just honesty. I created a quick one page with a logo, supporting typeface, and colours. I then did the same for concept 2. For this strategy, I gave myself the prompts of playful, modern, cheerful, imaginative, bold, clean, sustainable, and simple. This was the concept that aligned with the brief, and this is the concept I chose to move forward with. The simple logo style matched Just's approach to creating products with simple, minimal ingredients. The typeface was squishy, doughy, and communicates the message of a bakery. The style would stand out from competitors, and I feel that the simplicity communicates that message of quality that is required to have the consumers choosing the sustainable packaging. I continued to develop the brand identity and created a brand guidelines using Adobe InDesign, which explains the correct uses for the assets and the design choices behind them. I will discuss a few of the pages here, but the whole PDF can be found on my blog post. I continued developing the logo. I wanted to keep it simple, which the words within the logo do. They represent the company's ethos of being honest and using minimal ingredients and making just baked goods. The secondary logo is for a smaller placement. I was concerned that the words baked goods would not be readable when the logo is placed somewhere small, and the logo mark is an icon of Just Bestseller, a loaf of bread. The illustrations are an accessory to be used on the packaging to support the product description with a simple visual and description. The primary colours are inspired by the colour mood board from earlier. They were chosen to provoke thoughts of nature, calm, and trust from the audience, and the depth of tones in the wheat field green and the French bakery purple will also communicate the quality of the product. The secondary colours add a playfulness to the palette. They are primarily for use on the pattern paper and illustrations. The shapes used to showcase the colours represent specks of flour and are an additional asset for the designers to use. When working on the colour palette, I used WebAIM to ensure that there were options for high contrast colours within the branding that are accessible to everyone. I additionally have included a prompt for designers within the brand guidelines to ensure contrast colours are used when having two colours layered. The primary typography balances out the bold typeface from the logo. When placed on packaging, even when scaled large, it will create a harmony with the logo. The secondary typography is used within the primary logo and works well for subtitles on package labels. Its clear readability communicates well to the audience. The body text is again easily readable, which is important for the audience to be able to understand the messaging on the labels. To create the packaging for the loaves of bread, I measured the wrapping off a loaf of Warburtons. I created various patterns that will be printed on compostable paper and wrapped around the loaf. The sleeves shown in this slide will then wrap around the bread, and a sticker with the best before date will help seal the sleeve. I used various bread labels and government food label guidance to create the left side of the labels. For the right side of the labels, I wanted to give the audience a clear understanding behind the packaging and promote its reuse. The idea is that Just could eventually invite collaborators to create posters and introduce festive options for the wrapping to further push for it not to just be discarded of. The sleeves would all be colour coded to represent white, seeded, and brown as shown here. The patterned wrapping paper would be mix and match, but the sleeves would always match the bread so that the audience can clearly understand and quickly pick up the right loaf from the shelf. I tried to create a mock-up like the sketches shown here from scratch using my own photo and Photoshop and Illustrator, but with limited time I struggled. Whilst I didn't finish the mock-ups, I did learn new Photoshop skills that I hadn't explored before, so it was still beneficial to my aim of improving my Photoshop skills. I then created these mock-ups. The image of bread was created by AI, but the designs, placement, textures, and styling were created by myself using both Illustrator and Photoshop. The mock-ups show how the packaging will work, including the best before sticker on the sleeve. I also created a few mock-ups of the shop signage as requested by Just in the brief, and a paper bag showing the illustrations and sticker in use. For the window, I wanted to keep the design simple to reflect the simplicity of the brand identity. Lastly, I created a mock-up of hoarding to demonstrate the use of imagery and the primary colour palette for Just used in a fun way. This type of advertisement will hopefully educate passers-by on the ethos of Just Baked Goods, with their tagline of freshly baked, minimal ingredients included, and a call to action that the bread, croissants and flatbreads are available to buy from Sainsbury's. Throughout this project, I have improved on my skills in the production of creative print-ready assets, confidence in Adobe Suite, particularly in Design and Photoshop, and the creation of final files, both digital and print. Moving forward, when working on the rest of the portfolio project, I would like to produce more print-ready and digital assets and practice making faster design decisions. Thank you, and here are my references.